Welcome everyone to Seeds of Knowledge with Miss Deeds. I am Miss Deeds. My first name is Shannon, so I did Self-Care September with Shannon, and then the name for the channel is Seeds of Knowledge with Miss Deeds. I am Miss Deeds. Today is my actual first in-depth video, and we're going to talk today really about detoxing and detoxification. I am a colon hydrotherapist, and I have been a colon hydrotherapist for almost 9 years, and I am also a detoxification specialist. I'm an esthetician and I specialize in organic skincare, and I have studied many various modalities of healing over the last decade to heal myself and my family is where it started, and then now the goal is to spread that wealth of knowledge to others so that they too can have the opportunity and information to help heal themselves and their families. Today's video is just going to be strictly on detoxification. This is kind of a long topic, so if it runs long, I may have to split the videos into two. But the process of detoxification literally is just removing substances that are toxic from the body. So I've been doing this for a very long time. I have seen all the controversies, and not all, but read controversies about detoxification and how you cannot detoxify the body, that's what you have your organs for, so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do today is just sort of explain what, get into a little bit about what detoxification means to each person individually, sort of, and then maybe kind of list some modalities that people use to detoxify, and then what that can help with in your life, because the whole reason for detoxification is to help us feel better. There are a lot of diets out there. The first thing about detoxification that I want people to understand in my lifestyle, because everyone thinks I live a certain diet lifestyle, that is not the same as detoxification. Dieting to lose weight and to build muscle mass or whatever you're dieting for is not the same as detoxification. Detoxification would be having a diet that was inducive to creating that response in the body that is called detoxification. So just because we get on a Jenny Craig and we pull back our calories doesn't mean we're actually detoxifying, because we're still putting in harmful chemicals and toxins that are poisoning our body. We're just doing it at a smaller rate because our meals are smaller. So that is one thing that I want to clear up about detoxification. That detoxification can be done through diet and nutrition specifically and only, but it does not mean that that's the only way to do it, and it does not mean that a diet is the way to solve that. I'm not a super fan of the word diet because that implicates that it's something you're going to do for a short period of time to acquire a simple result. Detoxification, on the other hand, is lifestyle changes. When you make choices to detoxify your body and your family, you're making lifestyle changes, and hopefully you're making these changes for the long term and not necessarily just to the short term. But the truth of the matter is, once you start making some changes, once you start detoxifying the body, once you start realizing your body can feel better, once you start realizing that the symptoms that you're ailing from, in most cases, once again, not everyone is exactly the same, but in most cases, the ailments that we are ailed with are primarily our fault. Sometimes because we don't care, and other times because we just don't know. We just don't have the education. Our food pyramid is built wrong. Our system is designed to keep us eating foods that make us sick. All of our commercials and restaurants all advertise the same styles and types of food. And those types of foods are the reasons why we tend to be so sick. So yes, detoxification will have a lot to do with the removal of certain types of foods, and that's primarily because you cannot detoxify the body while toxifying it. You have to stop toxifying the body. So detoxification is what our organs are supposed to do in our body. I've read several articles where people say that it's a hoax. Our organs, our liver, our kidneys, our pancreas, our gallbladder, these are all organs that assist our colon, specifically assist our body in detoxification. And that's exactly what they're supposed to do. But like any other well-oiled machine in the world, our organs need they need the right ingredients. They need the right fundamental, and in our case, it's enzymes, it's nutrients, it's micronutrients. And without those, our organs do not detoxify the way they should. The other side to that is we are chronically poisoning ourselves every day as we eat these things that we call food and take in these substances we call medicine, and we are over toxifying our body and not putting enough of these minerals in. Therefore, our body is becoming basically a waste machine. Our pH balance gets off, and then that makes it very difficult for our body to do anything it's supposed to do, because the pH balance is essential. So I have a lot of analogies. So when we talk about detoxing and I get into the individual videos, you'll hear a lot of these analogies over and over again, but the pH balance is a number one reason why a person would want to detoxify, because if your body is acidic, then you are a breeding ground for disease. And there is no other way around it. Every single illness and ailment and disease that is out there, every person that you test that has a disease and an ailment or illness will have an acidic pH, and it will be lower than the 7 that is 7.4 that we really should be as humans. Okay, the primary cause for the acidity change in our body is our diet. The foods that we eat and that we consume are either acidic in themselves or create acidic responses in our body. If you want to think of the body as a fish tank, this is one of my favorite analogies. We are fish tanks. We just don't have see-through walls. As soon as the water in a fish tank starts to get imbalanced with the pH and that ammonia starts to get high, you'll notice that the color of the water starts to change, and you'll see that foggy green in the water, and then as that continues to go on untreated, the green gets on the walls, and then from there you'll have the black fuzzy stuff in your fish tank and go on from there, and then the water gets thicker, and then you'll have stuff on the walls that is not green, and it'll be brown. These are great examples of what's going on inside your body. Perfect examples of what's going on inside your body. We are not pH balanced because our diet is not pH balanced, our medicine is not pH balanced, and our education is not pH balanced. Just like a fish tank, if we are not balanced, our bodies are not balanced. And that mold and that fungus and that bacteria and parasites, yes, parasites, we are a breeding ground for all of these things. We become a host for all of it, and then we turn around and wonder why we're sick. Well, our fish tank is dirty, guys. Well, our filters are clogged. It's full of junk. They're not running. So yes, we have all these organs that are supposed to do all this stuff, but are they really doing this stuff? And the answer to that question in most cases is no, because we have all in this generation, if you are my age, which is mid-30s, we have all been on too many antibiotics. We have all been on too many prescription pills. We have all been eating boxed food and unhealthy, unnatural foods since we were young, you know. pH balancing the body can be done in many different ways, and that's what some of these future videos will talk about. We'll talk about the types of cleanses that people can actually do to specifically balance a pH or to specifically clean an organ like the colon. Detoxification for me, and what I specialize in when I work with people on a daily basis, is the colon. And so for those of you that aren't aware, the colon is the large intestine. That is the short one that is 5 feet long, and it's supposed to be only about 3.5 inches wide. So when I talk to people and I work with them, and I have been a colon hydrotherapist for almost 9 years now, and I've worked with quite a few people. When we talk about the colon and we talk about trying to be a little bit healthier, because most people's initial goal is to lose weight, but the other part of losing weight is getting rid of that bloating, that headache, that fatigue, that stress on the body, that sciatic nerve, that endometriosis, that feet, so, you know, just acne, eczema, allergies. All this stuff is really what the people are looking to alleviate. Like, how do I get better from these things? And we start in the colon. So as a colon hydrotherapist, the education that I have is basically the mechanics of the body. So another great analogy, this is your vehicle, and I am the mechanic for the vehicle. So I understand the functionality of all the organs and how they work together, and how if one organ is imbalanced and is not functioning properly, there are specific things that we can do to assist that organ so that it does not become problematic and affect other organs in your body. Detoxification really does include cleaning the colon. There's lots of ways to clean the colon. The easiest way is to come see me for some colon hydrotherapy. But there are food detoxes, herbal supplements, tinctures. There are other modalities. There are coffee enemas. There are enema bags for your house. The truth of the matter is we all carry way too much waste in our bowel. Our colon should only have about 4 to 8 pounds of stool in it. That's where I, a healthy human, stand. So I have typically 4 to 8 pounds of stool in my colon. I tell people all the time, pinch your stomach, just like pinch it. This little skin, that's your fat. Anything else protruding over your pants is the waste in your colon. And because the colon is a series of membranes that are thin, it tends to stretch just like a condom. So the more waste we put in that our body is not eliminating, the colon will stretch. And it'll just stretch and stretch and stretch as you continue to store waste in your bowel because we're not eating properly and stimulating that response. And you can go to the bathroom once or twice or even 3 times a day and still have a stomach that is distended and stored waste in your bowel. So that's not necessarily an indication that everything is working properly. It is an indication that you're doing a little bit better than some of the other people who aren't eliminating, but that's all for another video. So detoxifying the colon changes every function in the body. The colon is attached to the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system is literally the little pump, these glands you have everywhere here that hurt when you're sick. Their job is to collect the waste, the fungus, all that stuff in your fish tank that's off. Their job is to collect that and to drain all of that waste into the colon. Now, you can imagine here as you're listening and I'm talking, if your colon is clogged up with all this waste and all this junk, which is waste, it's stool, it's stomach fungus, and now mucus because of what we're doing with our pH and we're off. We all have that kind of stuff going on inside of us. With all this going on, you can imagine how that it would be difficult for that lymphatic system to drain. One of the funny things that I find about detoxing, to kind of take a detour, is that most people understand the concept of cleaning systems, filtered systems, replacing filters, changing them. Most people understand that if you don't take care of your car and you don't, do the oil changes and transmission flushes and radiator flushes and all that stuff, that there's going to be clogging and backing up, and then one thing will lead to another. Why don't we understand that about our body? So there's a huge disconnect because our medical system has taught us that, actually it hasn't taught us anything. It's actually left us where we are now, sick, where people like myself has to take it upon myself to heal myself and then my entire family, which is a blessing because we're healed and we don't need to go back to Western medicine society thinking because of this type of education. So with the modalities in detoxification, you can not only eliminate symptoms, but you can actually heal these symptoms. And I'm not going to say diseases because that could get me in a lot of trouble. I'm not going to sit in here and tell you that I can cure your disease, but you, with the proper education and the proper tools, can heal and alleviate your symptoms, your headaches, your constant sickness, colds, strep throat. You can alleviate this distension, this bloating, this stuff, and it's all through detoxification. So this is going to be the end of the first half of this video, and then I'm going to switch into another one. We're going to talk a little bit more about detoxification, guys.